Let's be honest for a moment. At some point, you've probably wondered why some people seem to get socially better without trying that hard. They don't always say smarter things. They're not necessarily louder or more confident, but conversations flow for them. Awkward moments don't stick. People respond to them differently. Meanwhile, you replay one sentence from a conversation for the next 3 hours like it's a crime scene. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not bad at social skills. You're just learning them in the least effective way possible. Near the end of this video, I'll show you why trying to improve socially often slows learning down, and how a smaller approach works faster. Why most people learn social skills the wrong way. Most of us were trained to learn one way: memorize, perform, forget. School taught us how to pass tests, not how to build real skills. And social skills are not information, they're behavior. Now, let me be clear about something first. Watching videos, reading about social skills, learning the concepts, that's not useless. It's actually a necessary foundation. You need language for what's happening. You need awareness. You need a mental map before you step into the situation. That's exactly why you're watching this video. The problem starts when input becomes the entire strategy. Most people try to fix their social life by watching more videos, memorizing more tips mentally, rehearsing conversations, building scripts in their head, which feels productive. And at first, it helps. But if it stays there, nothing really changes. It's like learning the rules of swimming, watching technique breakdowns, understanding how water works. All useful. But eventually, you still have to get into the pool. Because real learning doesn't happen through input alone. It happens when input turns into action. Input versus output, and why thinking isn't helping you. Input is passive. Reading, watching, listening. Output is active. Speaking, reacting, practicing, failing, adjusting. Here's the problem. Most people who struggle socially live almost entirely in input mode. They think about conversations, analyze conversations, replay conversations, but they don't train them. Social skills are a contact sport. You don't learn them safely in your head. You learn them by being slightly uncomfortable in real situations. And yes, that discomfort matters. It's not a sign that you're bad at this. It's a sign that your nervous system is actually learning something new. The 80-20 rule applied to social skills. Most people think getting better socially means doing more. More jokes, more stories, more personality. But the 80-20 rule says something else. A few small behaviors create most of the result. In conversations, people usually focus on the wrong 80%, trying to be interesting, funny, or saying the perfect thing. What actually matters lives in the other 20%. Listening a bit longer, staying on one topic, asking one real follow-up, not rushing to fill silence. If you practice just one thing, let it be this. Stay 2 seconds longer with what the other person says. Don't prepare your response. Don't plan your story. Just stay. That small shift does more for your conversations than 100 social tips. Why overthinking slows your social growth. Most people believe they'll improve socially by thinking more. But thinking often isn't learning. It's avoidance. Your head feels safe. Real interaction doesn't. In your mind, everything can be clean and controlled. In real conversations, things are messy. Growth doesn't come from perfect execution. It comes from imperfect exposure. And this is where another learning principle comes in. Active recall. Learning by testing yourself. Active recall means forcing your brain to retrieve information instead of consuming it again. Applied to social skills, it looks like this. After a conversation, don't ask, "Why am I so awkward?" Ask, "What did I actually do? When did tension show up? What worked better than usual? What was different this time?" No judgment, no emotional self-attack. And here's something most people forget. Most of the time, other people don't have a strong opinion about what you said. And even if they did, you don't actually know what that opinion is. Your brain fills in the blanks. Most people evaluate social interactions emotionally. That blocks learning. Observation creates improvement. Small, frequent interactions work better than big moments. Many people wait for the moment, the party, the date, the presentation. But learning doesn't happen in one dramatic event. The spacing effect shows that learning sticks better when practice is spread out over time. For social skills, that means short interactions, low pressure, daily exposure, one comment to a coworker, one question in a conversation, 1 second of silence you don't rush to fill. It feels small, but your nervous system learns. This is survivable. And if you do this every day, something subtle happens. It starts to feel normal, not exciting, not scary, just familiar. Try this for a few weeks. Simple, small interactions. Every day. Don't aim for confidence, just consistency. And watch what happens. Because safety is what allows learning. Why you must train, what you avoid. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They practice what feels comfortable, that feels productive, but creates almost no growth. Real improvement comes from the thing you avoid. For example, staying quiet in groups, laughing instead of speaking, filling silence instead of letting it exist. Those aren't personality flaws. They're training targets. Deliberate practice means not repeating what's easy, but gently entering what's uncomfortable. Yes, it feels awkward. Yes, it feels exposed. That's not failure. That's learning happening. Why teaching accelerates social growth. Ever notice that people who explain things tend to sound calmer? That's because when you explain, your thoughts organize, your pace slows, your attention shifts outward. Social anxiety grows when attention collapses inward. Even explaining things out loud to yourself helps. Or pretending you're explaining something to someone else. Your brain stops performing and starts communicating. Why discomfort is actually a good sign. Most people stop right when learning begins. They feel tension and think, this means I'm bad at this. But tension often just means your nervous system is adapting, not, this is wrong. But this is new. And here's something important to remember. In social situations, it's almost always better to say something, even if it comes out a bit clumsy, than to say nothing at all. Silence caused by fear keeps the habit alive. Imperfect action weakens it. Fluency comes later. Learning comes first. If you see yourself as someone in training instead of someone failing, everything changes. Not, I'm socially awkward, but I'm practicing social skills. One word, massive shift. Why this works. Not because you become perfect, not because anxiety disappears, but because you stop trying to solve social life mentally. You treat behavior as practice, mistakes as data, discomfort as feedback. People who learn faster aren't better. They just stay in the learning process longer, without attacking themselves. Final thought. If you made it this far, you don't need more advice. You need a different approach. Social skills aren't talent. They aren't personality. They're a trainable skill, not learned by thinking, but by doing, observing, and repeating. So don't watch another video today. Test one thing. Notice what happens. You don't need to be socially perfect. You just need to stay in training.